Hello, my motivators! I told you guys that I was going to do a mukbang every Friday, right? Well, I'm here. Gonna do it. Heads up. Well, I don't really know if it's a heads up, but I'm going to start doing a thing on here called What's on Your Mind Wednesdays. And it's when you guys send me anonymous things through Sarah app, and I'm going to post it now on every video, so you guys can like do it anytime you want. Like if you're in a bad, if you're in a bad place, or if you just have something on your mind that you just need to let out, to vent, you guys can just say on the anonymous thing, and it's like totally anonymous. I can't even reply to the comments. So yeah, and then I will answer all of them on Wednesdays for you guys. And I'm sorry if you guys hear that noise. I am drying clothes. Yeah, so you guys can do anything like confessions, to like if you need advice. I mean, I might not be the best person, but I can try to help because I love helping people. That's what my group, that's what everything YouTube is all about, expressing myself and helping people along the way. Yeah, hopefully you guys like it. I really think that, I don't know, but I've already opened it. Like last night I opened the app up to you guys. I put it on my Instagram, which everything is down below if you guys want to follow me. I put it on my Snapchat and I think on my personal Facebook, and I've already gotten some like venting or people asking for advice. I already got some, and the majority, to be honest, I got a lot of shade, but it's okay because we just gotta put them glasses on and we'll be good, right? We'll be like cool, LL Cool J. I'm just kidding. I honestly don't know who people are in the industry. Sorry, I only know some people. But this is what I'm eating today, and while I'm eating, I'm not really going to talk. That's why I wanted to let you guys know everything about What's on Your Mind Wednesdays. And just submit anything. To be honest, nobody will know who it is. So you can ask questions. You can just what's on your mind, basically. And we'll talk about it on Wednesday. Even a subject you guys want to talk about, like that you guys are really into, like aliens. But yeah, anything, I guess, because I'm really talkative. Like I've been going on for like the past 2-3 minutes. But yeah, so we're just gonna get to the mukbang, and I'm gonna put on some preaching. If you guys don't like it, you guys do not have to listen and into it or anything, but this is my motivational speaking. I listen to sermons, I listen to preaching from a radio station on iHeartRadio called KRDU 1130 AM. Yeah, The Harvest, I think. So I listen to them. That's what gets me through my day. God is Almighty. That's all I gotta say. That's what gets me going. That's who created me. That I believe. You guys don't have to believe the same. And I'm never saying anything about that you guys have to believe what I believe. There's always an exit button if you guys want to. And yeah, let's go to watch.
God moves in a quiet way, and God uses little things to accomplish His purpose. Someone has said great doors are swung on little hinges. God uses those things to open mighty doors. And that's what this man had to learn. And then when Elijah heard that, it was so when Elijah heard it that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out, stood in the entering of the cave, and behold, there came a voice unto him and said, What doest thou here, Elijah? And he said, I've been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts. And he told what he had done. And I only am left, and they seek my life to take it away. The Lord said unto him, Go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus. That is, go back north where you came from. When thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. God says, I have work for you to do. I'll take care of you. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel. And Elisha, the son of Shaphat, you will anoint him to be prophet in thy room. I have a successor. It shall come to pass that him that escapeth the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escapeth from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I've left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which hath not kissed him. God has always had a remnant, friends. He has a remnant today. And this was the remnant. Now, I have been very unkind to them. They were standing for God. They had not bowed the knee to Baal, but they were not out in the open like Elijah was. They were the silent one. And we find that he's going to raise up Elisha to take his place. Now we're told, so he departed thence and found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12th. And Elijah passed by him and cast his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen and ran after Elijah and said, Let me, I pray thee, kiss my father, my mother, then I'll follow thee. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what have I done to thee? He returned back from him and took a yoke of oxen, slew them, and boiled their flesh with the instruments of the oxen, gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he arose and went after Elijah and ministered unto him. Now he's Elijah's pupil. He's to take his place. Now in chapter 20, we have here Ahab's campaign against Syria, against Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria. And God is permitting the enemy now to come in from the outside. Up to this time, God had not permitted it at all. We are told, though, that God promised a victory even to Ahab. Verse 13, Behold, there came a prophet unto Ahab, king of Israel, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Hast thou seen all this great multitude? Behold, I'll deliver it into thine hand this day, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. And Ahab said, By whom? He said, Thus saith the Lord, even by the young men of the princes of the provinces. Then he said, Who shall order the battle? And he answered, Thou. Now God gave this man an opportunity. We hear a great deal about lost opportunities and about opportunity knocking only once at the door of every man. I think opportunity stands at the door and just keeps knocking. But now Ahab is promised a victory, and God gives him a great victory over the Syrians. But the prophet, verse 22, came to the king of Israel and said unto him, Go strengthen thyself and mark and see what thou doest. For at the return of the year the king of Syria is going to come against thee. I've given you a victory now, but you be careful. You don't return back to the worship of Baal. I've demonstrated that I'm your God, the living God. And we're told that the king of Syria coming, and this is a very vivid picture in verse 27, children of Israel pitched before them like two little flocks of kids, but the Syrians fill the country. And we find here that, again, he's given a victory, but he made the mistake of sparing Ben-Hadad. You see, he was told that he's to eliminate the enemy. There is no...
It's pretty good. I just grabbed cornbread. I have cornbread that I made from a box. I got lime chips. They taste really good with chili. And cinnamon rolls, I burnt them, which I was trying not to burn them, but se me fue el tiempo. And the chili I made by myself. When I was at Walmart, I was like, ooh, we should eat chili, because there was like a stand of like chili beans. And so I was like, ooh, we should make chili. So I looked it up, what I should get. But honestly, I didn't go by the recipe. I just got everything it needed, and I just threw everything in. And it's really good. Like, leche Valentina. It tastes so good with Valentina. I think it needs a little bit more because I don't know. I don't feel it enough. So that tastes really good. And right now the radio just paused. And I put 2 slices of cheese in it. Today we're getting fat, you guys. I don't think I ate today. Like, I was thinking about it all day. Did I eat in this morning? I don't think I did. So I'm fasting, and this is my meal. So maybe that's why it tasted so good. And the crazy thing is that I haven't really been hungry all day either. And I waited for this chili, and it's like perfect. And I moved the light that I had in the background because it was like blinding me. My eyes were hurting. So I'm sorry if this is like not bright enough. But let's try this. I even put it in the microwave for a little bit, and they already got hard. I love cinnamon rolls so much. Like, I feel like they need more icing. I lick my fingers a lot too when I'm cooking. When I'm eating. And I'm not gonna eat everything like that's on here, but I wanted to show you guys. And I really wanted to try it with cornbread. I made it mainly for my husband. I made the cinnamon rolls for me. I should make these from scratch because they're not all that. I got it from that one rollito thingy. It's okay.
And even though this represented about our 12th time in the land of Israel, something stood out to me that I had never really thought much about before. And it's what led me to prepare the message for this morning as I prepared it. This is one that addresses perpetuity. By that I mean what God requires of us in order for us to remain a dynamic, meaningful church that represents the work of God. You see, when you're in an old country like we were in, not old in its nation, but old in that area of the world, you see a lot of structures that have fallen. And you realize it wasn't like that at its beginning. There was a great time when those structures held important individuals who carried out very important responsibilities. But now all of that is over. This day last week, we were sitting on the steps in front of Herod's temple. Once stood tall and stately in the city of Jerusalem as a result of the invading army and the fall of the city. The huge, enormous boulders, that some of them weighing hundreds of tons, lying in rubble around the building. And you realize that over the passing of time, changes occur. And as I looked out across the skyline of Jerusalem again, I realized that there is a need for us as a body of people involved in a dynamic ministry by the grace of God to be warned. Decisions are made along the way that make a difference. And if they are not a part of the commitment, and if there isn't vigilance accompanying the commitment, erosion takes its toll. It occurred to me that some things need to be said today. I'm not alarmed about anything recently. I just have a gnawing uneasiness as our country moves in the wrong direction and our culture is farther removed from what we once knew. It's harder now to stand for Christ than it was even when this church was founded. Who knows what will happen in the next 20 or 30 years. So, this being the first day of spring and this being a Sunday, seemed to be an appropriate time for me to bring a special message for today, representing the essentials of a dynamic ministry. And it's with that in mind, I invite you to look toward the end of the first letter Paul wrote Corinth, 1 Corinthians 15, the last verse there, and then down in chapter 16, verses 13 and 14. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your toil is not in vain in the Lord. Next chapter, verse 13. Be on the alert. Stand firm in the faith. Literally, the original reads, play the man. Grow up. Act like an adult. Be strong. Let all that you do be done in love.
You're listening to Insight for Living. To search the scriptures with Chuck Swindoll.
As much as we wish it would be true, we have no guarantee that what we are today, we will be 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, or even beyond that. We have ample evidence, not only in history, but even within the scriptures, that exemplify that fact. There is no guarantee that greatness can be sustained. Unless, of course, steps are taken to make that happen. I'm thinking of the church at Ephesus. We're all acquainted with the letter to the Ephesians, but you may not be as acquainted with the history of the church that was founded in the ancient city of Ephesus. Paul was a part of that. Aquila and Priscilla, a couple that he had trained, were left there to continue the founding of that church. And along with Paul comes Timothy, a delegate, apostolic delegate, who takes up the torch and ministers there, and others in the days to come. Now, the beginning of it is around 53, 54, AD 53, 54. Such a great beginning. How many churches could boast of 3 years with the Apostle Paul, along with Aquila and Priscilla, his friends, and then add to that the presence of Apollos, the great preacher of the first century, and others along the way as a part of their historic beginning. They moved on and they made a difference in what we know today as the land of Turkey. In the days of the Bible, it was called Asia, or Asia Minor. And there, one of the coastal cities that was really a drawing for many who traveled. Ephesus became wealthy and prosperous, and the church itself even attracted John the Apostle as one of their pastors along the way. When Paul stopped on his journey back to Jerusalem, knowing that it would be his last time to visit with the elders of the church at Ephesus, he asked that they come down and meet with him in a little coastal town named Miletus. The event is recorded in the book of Acts. He warned them. He said to them, you need to watch out, because from among you wolves will enter in, and in their savage attacks they will take on the sheep of the church, and by their presence will take a toll. Watch out. The warning must have stung, because he delivered it to them when the church was strong. On the heels of his years there and a few others, and I wonder if some of them didn't think it was a bit over the top, somewhat extreme. But Paul knew and realized the nature of depravity and what can happen in a church where there isn't vigilance. And so he left them with a warning, and they wept with him, and then he prayed with him and was gone, never to see them again. And the church moved on and eroded. When you trace the history of the church at Ephesus, you realize that that warning was given somewhere around the middle of 50 in the first century, AD 50. When the book of Revelation is written by AD 90, some of you will remember from our study of Revelation, in the second chapter, the very first church that is addressed is Ephesus. And John writes to them, telling them with a sigh that the Lord has something against them. They have left their first love. They didn't love the Lord like they used to. And John writes to the church, urging them to repent. Already, in just 40 brief years, or maybe a few less than that, the church had begun to erode, begun to drift. It didn't have the passion it had earlier. It didn't have the drive, the momentum, the dynamic. And by, like all the others of the seven churches, except one, it had begun to lose its impact in the community. In my recent trip to Israel, I sat looking over the scene of the city of Jerusalem. We had been in Galilee and spent a few days there, and then ultimately came down into Judea, and we were in Jerusalem the rest of our time, and it was a chance to look out over that inimitable scene. No other city quite like Jerusalem. And I noticed within the city itself, buildings that once had stood tall and strong no longer even stood. And over the passing of time, the building that had once been a major part of the world of that first century, and even before that first century, was no longer even represented as a building, but a rubble of huge boulders, stones. The thought occurred to me that no ministry can claim perpetual significance. It's never automatic. What we enjoy these days, and we all look forward to from one Sunday to the next, and not just on Sunday, but through the week, meaningful things are occurring and lives are being changed and touched and helped in ways that many in the public are not aware of, but ministry is going on. And I began to search my heart before the Lord and realized that perhaps it was a good day this Sunday for me to say some things to all of us, certainly myself included, like Paul in his warning to the church at Ephesus. There's a verse in Corinthians that says, "Let him who thinks he stands take heed." Remember the end of the verse? "Lest he fall." The same could be said for a church ministry. Let any church who is currently today engaged in a dynamic and meaningful, I would even add momentous kind of ministry, take heed, lest we drift and ultimately fall. So I asked the question, what is essential in order for us to sustain a strategic ministry? The key word is sustain. What must we do? What must we be? What must be at least essential, the essential ingredients that keep a church strong? And I was drawn to this last verse of 1 Corinthians 15 and a couple of verses tucked away at the middle of the 16th chapter, as the basis of what I want to share that I believe will be meaningful for all of us. Isn't it interesting that in a brief period of about 40 years, erosion had taken its toll? I've learned a number of things over the years about erosion, but three things stand out. It is silent, it is slow, and it is subtle. As time passes, there is a letting down of the guard. There is a slow drift that kicks in. And what was once a passionate pursuit becomes a perfunctory responsibility, and ultimately change sets in. And the church did not look like it looked at the beginning. By the time you get into that time when it's addressed in Revelation chapter 2, things have changed. There aren't words to describe how much I care about the ministry of Stonebriar Community Church. I love this ministry. I am committed to this ministry.
Oh, you guys, I am full. Like, I was full when I was already halfway done, but I was like, I gotta do it for the viewers. I gotta do it for my motivators and eat more. But now I feel like I'm gonna hurt my stomach. Look at me doing too much. So yeah, that's how much I got. I bet you guys could tell because I was like eating slower and everything. Had a burp. Oh, and I was trying my water because it's the gallon challenge, you guys. And we're still doing the squat challenge until, what, today's October 20th. This video will probably be up tomorrow, so it'll be the 21st. And, yeah, so like one more week for the challenge to be done. Let me know what kind of challenges you guys want to see next. It's been an amazing year so far. It's already October though, I just said that. It's been an amazing year so far. We have done challenges every month of the year, so I hope that really helps you guys, and I hope it makes you feel more involved, like, you know, in the group or like with me, because I want to meet you guys. Like, I literally want to meet you guys. Knowing everybody else's struggles also makes you feel like you're not alone, and you're like, you know what, I do that too. Like, look at me, you guys. Look what I'm eating. I'm like a roller coaster. But the thing about it is that you could fail. You can fail. But with failure, you have to get back up. That's the thing, you guys. Is getting back up. You cannot fail and just lay there, because you're here for a purpose. You have a purpose. No matter what it is, you have a purpose. And just laying down, you need to fulfill your purpose. That's what I gotta say. And I hope you guys like watching my videos. If you guys don't, you guys don't have to watch it. It's okay. And I don't know, it's just all about love here on this channel, and you guys are getting to know me as you guys watch these and we could even do story times when I do the mukbangs. And yeah, so just let me know what you guys are interested in and everything. I've been trying to stay active like every day, because I want to, you know, to help videos get out there to you guys. I have so much ideas in my head, but sometimes it's hard to organize how I want to say things or how things should be said. I don't want any video that I do not to be purposeful. Only like the challenges and stuff, like that's for fun for me and my kids, little bonding moments. Yeah, I'm just talking now. So I hope you guys give me a like, just so I know that you guys do like this video. If you guys want to see more videos like this with the preaching on in the background, I really can't control what kind of preaching it is. It's just whatever the radio has, and I take it from there. That's why there was a lot of stops, because I stopped it on the commercials, or like right now I stopped it because I got full. And yeah, so subscribe to my channel. And I love you guys. Don't forget, it's not a rough life. It's a rough moment. You will get past it, and you will own it.